You've always raised a strong voice against the categorization of your films as art films.
Yeah.
And you say there's no need for a distinction between an art film and a commercial movie. But why in the first place do you think your films get typecast?
Well, whether you like it or not, the market will categorize you because they need everything simplified, to reduce the risk factor. So they know that, it's a Shyamaprasad movie, so it will be something cerebral or, deep or dark, or which are not, they are not actually, I guess, because there are a lot of lighter moments. I think it's a very sensuous, not just me, many filmmakers get categorized like that, unfortunately. And now there is a new categorization called new generation, and all that. I think these are all, the laziness of the critics and the market decision makers to, make it simpler for their job. But I don't mentally try to fit into, any particular slot, as I said earlier. I just go with the theme and find an expression, a style which is suitable for that. The expression of Ritu is different from expression of Kadal, is different from artist, for instance.
What are the parameters you set when you decide upon a story for your movie?
Well, it should move me intensely. It should be relevant to me. It should have meaning for me, and I should be able to find myself in it.
Okay.
More often I am asked, why do I take other people's works?
Yeah, that was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
Most of it is literary adaptations.
Yeah.
So don't you have a story that you want to tell the world?
It's because firstly, since I'm not a writer, and I think writing is a completely different art altogether, and which is a much more complicated and challenging art. So I don't want to dabble in something which I am not
sure about.
Yeah, which I am not good at. Okay. Whereas I think a content or a story or a plot is one of the fundamental elements in it, but just one element. Because film is not a story. Filmmaker is not a storyteller. Filmmaker is an artist who creates an experiential world for a plot, for a context. So his art is actually creating that experiential world with the sound and images and movement. So for me, story is just one part.
Okay.
And in that story, I make sure that I find myself, that it is me, or it is mine in some way, or during the process of filmmaking, it becomes mine. Like I may be talking about the Nambudiri Illams of the 40s and 50s, but I am actually talking about me, a man in the 1990s.
At any time in this process, is the audience in your mind?
Yes and no, because when you are concerned about the medium, you are concerned about what it actually projects and how much and how long and all that. So when the medium is your basic concern, you are obviously thinking of the audience. But it is not the audience sensibility or an imaginary audience like the youth or the urban audience or the rural audience, BC class Nagapara. It's not that kind of categorization. Whether the use of the medium, the way that I do, is strong enough to reach a particular strength of audience. But the sensibilities of the audience that I have in mind is always me. It should be something which I would like to see. It is my sensibility, because that's the only one I can trust. Because if I make films for the youth, the 40 plus or the 50 plus is going to turn away. If I make film for the urban, the rural are going to turn away. So, and it's all very, very, very hazy and very quickly changing and everything. So why should I depend, my film on an imaginary sensibility?
Okay. Okay.
Whereas if I am conscious of my own sensibility, and if I am honest to my own
yourself.
sensibility, that's good enough.